Well, hello gang. Geezer here. First thing this morning what I'm doing is I got some leftover bread, so I'm making some fish bait. And I'll stick it in the freezer till I need it this summer or spring. I got a couple more in there. This is a pretty easy fish bait, and I find that pert near any kind of fish will bite on it, just depending upon how much you put on the hook. And it's quite simple to make. And all you do is, I start off with 10 slices of bread, whole bread, any bread you're going to toss out you can use. And then you want to put some peanut butter on it, about as much peanut butter as you would put on it for a sandwich, or maybe just a smidge more, a little more. I guess you can't go with too much, but yeah, whatever. And then if you find a clearance big jug of peanut butter or something, that's good for that. This one is pretty old. This one says used by 040915. So it's pretty old, but the fish keep eating it, so I guess it's alright. At any rate, I start off with 10 slices of bread just because that's an easy number to remember. And then you put some peanut butter on each slice, about what you would do for a sandwich. Then when you get them all into a bowl, then what you got to do is, you'll see here in just a minute, I'm just on the last slice here, number 10. And the reason I use 10 slices of bread, like I said, it's an easy number to remember. And why would I care about remembering the number? Well, that's step number 2. So get this jug out of the way. For those of you that know what they are, that's from Myers. That's old. Then you need a teaspoon, thusly, and you put in, to start, you put in 1 teaspoon of water for each slice of bread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And sometimes you will have to add another teaspoon or 2 as you go along, but usually not. But if it gets too dry, then you can just add another little bit. Then you use your mixers. Let me get back over here where you can see. Let me look in the viewfinder here and see if we can see. Oh yeah. Then you use your mixers and go for it. Just mix it all up, crunch it up, twist it around, smash it together, and you'll be able to tell when it's ready. How will you tell? Well, because it'll come off of your hands cleanly and off the bowl cleanly, and it'll be a nice big ball, and then you can put it in a plastic bag and stick it in the freezer. Or head to the lake, whatever you feel like doing. But it's too cold for me to go to the lake. But I usually keep 2 or 3 of these in the freezer, and it works out pretty good. So my back from the surgery's feeling good. That's all good. But I found out yesterday I got 7 or 8 cancer tumors in my bladder again. So got to get them out on the 23rd of this month. So I've had 6 taken out previously, 5 at one time, and they were, the laboratory said they were high-grade tumors. And then another time had one taken out, and the laboratory said it was a high-grade tumor. And another time he took one out, and it was a benign. So then I had another checkup where they didn't find anything. So I thought, oh man, beat this. Then I got tired with all the COVID testing you got to do before that, and yet my old doctor had to do all this stuff in the hospital. So I found this new doctor. And he does all the testing in his office. So that was really nice. Went in there yesterday, and they just use a local anesthetic and go up and look at your bladder. And he's got a color monitor, and he showed me everything there. And them little cancer tumors hanging on the bladder there, they look like a little thing off a ocean reef. flopping around and doing all kind of neat stuff, and it's pretty cool. And then his surgical assistant was helping him there in the room, and he said all but one don't look, he said they all look surface, he said, so they're not a problem. He said only one looks like it might be serious. And she's pretty sharp, because she says to him, well, maybe we should biopsy that one. He said, oh yeah, good idea. We'll make a note and get that one biopsied. So, but he's going to take all them out on the 23rd. So I got to go in the hospital to outpatient surgery for that. So I was all for him just taking them out yesterday in his office, but he can't do that. They said. His nurse told me on another visit, he don't do that because if you have a bleeding issue or something, they're not equipped to handle that, so they need to be in an operating room. So if you start runaway bleeding or something, they can deal with it. You know, I said, well, I never had that issue before, but so the new guy here, he's pretty nice. He's pretty nice. He seems to know his stuff, and I saw his nurse practitioner in December. And she set me up with the appointment for yesterday, and she didn't do it earlier because she said, well, let's get your back surgery done first and get you healed up from that, and then we'll get you in to see the doctor and get you scoped out and see what you got going on. And I said, okay, it works for me. So I seen him yesterday. He's a pretty nice guy. He's a lot like my old doctor. He cracks a few jokes and knows his stuff. And they told me, he said, when he comes in for the surgery, don't necessarily expect him to be wearing a coat and tie. He said, he may come dressed as any, you never know how he's going to come in. She said, so my old urology doctor, he'd show up in a t-shirt and shorts, and he didn't care. He's that good, you know. He didn't care what anybody said. This guy seems to be pretty good, too. The whole scope thing only took 30 seconds. But then he spent several minutes redoing it slowly and showing it on the monitor to me and pointing out things and what this is, what that is. And so he said, don't worry about it, we can deal with all this. And he said, since I have a history of high-grade tumors, he said, when he's in there and taking them out, he said he's going to go ahead and install some chemotherapy drugs while he's in there. And I read up on that last night, and they put it in, and they wait however long they got to wait, and then they drain it out before you go home, before you leave the operating room, so you don't have to go home with it. So I said, okay, you're the boss, whatever. And then also, my old doctor, if you needed CBG treatment or BCG treatment, you had to go to the cancer center. This guy's nurse does it right there in the office. She said, hey, if he wants you to have BCG treatment, don't worry about it. Don't have to go to the cancer center. I'll do it right here in the office. Sweet. So, that's where we're at. Back's feeling good, though. I have noticed the last couple of walks, walking uphill makes my back hurt. But it's not quite in the same place. See, there you go. Coming off my hands clean. Coming out of the bowl pretty clean. Now I'll get me a plastic bag and that will be done. So at any rate, I've noticed walking uphill makes my back hurt. Not necessarily in the same spot it used to hurt before, but along the same line. So I guess I'll ask them about that next checkup, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks. Okay, there we go. One done. How many slices of bread I got left in this load? Let me do another one while we're at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got another old loaf there. Let me get 3 more pieces here. 3 more pieces. One, 2, 3. Don't see nothing growing on them, so it ain't too bad. All right, now we got 10 more. These ones are a little bigger than them, so we'll deal with it. Now we got. This summer, I am determined I'm going to do more fish. I never went fishing one time last summer, and that is not acceptable. I'd like to go once a week this coming summer. But what happened last year, I thought I'd do that last year too, go fishing at least one day a week or two. But every time I'd get up in the morning, it'd be nice and warm and sunny. I'd say, man, this is a good day to go fishing. Then I'd go outside and say, ooh, it's also a good day to go cut wood. I think I'll go cut wood. So, cutting wood took priority over fishing. This year I need to make fishing a priority. But we'll see how I feel and how things go and what's happening. Might get a lot of fishing time in if this cancer thing develops the wrong way and I got to get a lot of treatments and don't feel like running chainsaws and stuff. So there'll be no more back surgeries or neck surgeries now this year. If I need them, because we'll do like last year. We'll just put them off until cutting season's done, or I got the wood house filled up, whichever comes first. See how this is done now? You just put some peanut butter on them. So this is an easy bait to make. And I found out if you put just a little pinch on you break a piece off the big ball and work it up in your fingers a little bit, and if it's too dry, you just dip your fingers in the lake and get a little damp and it's fine. But if you put just a little bit on your hook, and I find out bluegills and crappies and those things, if they're in the area, I guess they smell the peanut butter, they come and scarf it up. But if you want some catfish or trout even, I found, at least in our little state park lake, if you put a big ball on and throw it on the bottom, they'll get it, they'll scarf it up. And I've caught 2 or 3 trout up there on the bottom too, fishing on the bottom. So I don't know if the trout in them ponds just stay close to the bottom or what, but I've caught them on the bottom. So and since this is expired, now just so you don't get a bunch of comments about you can't eat stuff like that. This is only my making fish bait jug. I don't eat this peanut butter. I coulda, but I don't. I forget why I got, I think this one was on the clearance rack one time. I think that's why I bought it. So it was real cheap. Bought it just for this purpose. Okay. Turn that over. There we go. We put the knife in here. I'm done. This done. Somebody put a bread wrapper in there. I wonder who done that. Alright, here we go. Put the lid on the peanut butter. Okay, stash it over here out of the way for now. Now, we get 10 slices of bread, so we need 10 spoons of water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we had them 3 bigger slices, so we'll put in an extra 11. And then we'll see how it goes. And then we dive in again. Here we go. In the beginning it kind of sticks, kind of messy, but that's how you can tell when it's ready, when it don't stick no more. And it's pretty much the same color all the way around through. And I have put, you know, if you go to a big supermarket, in the coffee aisles they have, or near the coffee aisle, they have them big jars of different flavors you can get to put in your coffee, you know. I have used some vanilla a couple of times and added to this, a few drops here and there, and just enough that you can smell it good, and that seemed to help too. So I don't see why you couldn't put any other flavor in it. Anything that smells, got a good smell to it, so when it gets in the water, it goes out and attracts the fish. I think that's what the peanut butter does. I think that's why they like it. I learned to do this particular bait a long time ago. I don't remember where I learned it. Some genius must have taught it to me though. Or maybe it was from the early days of the internet. Yeah. It's back in the early days of the internet. I used to fish in websites, and it was pretty popular. So we'll just leave it at, I don't remember where I learned it. I just learned it. See, hands are getting cleaner. Yeah. And the ball's starting to get more of the same color all around it. Peanut butter brown. Need just a little bit dry here. Put a little more water on this one. Must have been because them 3 slices of bread was bigger than the rest. I don't know. I don't know why a lot of stuff I do works. I just know it works and how to do it. So I just go with it. I don't need to know all the ins and outs and the what fors, and I ain't a mechanic. Don't know that kind of stuff. Never played one on TV, so I'm not an expert in mechanicals. Although I will do a little electric work. I'm doing a job out in the garage now. I'm replacing that electrical panel out there, but it's too cold to continue on it, so. It's supposed to be in the 50s tomorrow, but I ain't going to be able to work on tomorrow. I'm working on cleaning up the house, straightening it up. My daughter and son-in-law and the 2 grandkids are coming down Saturday morning for the weekend, so got to be ready for them. But anyway, I'm replacing that electrical panel in the garage because the one I had was full up. And I wanted to add a 50 amp backfeed circuit for my new 50 amp generator, and there was no room. So I got a new box, found it on eBay. It was a new box, but the guy bought it and never used it, so I got a really good buy on it. And then I got it started. I get some of the stuff changed, some of the circuits changed over, but get another warm day, I can probably finish it up in a day. But I can turn off the juice to the garage from the house here, so everything's dead out there. The only problem I have is the boiler. If the boiler, I gotta watch how long the power's off on the boiler, because if it's off too long, it'll boil over. So what I did the other day when I had to turn power off is I went out and checked it, and I kept checking it until the water temperature was down so low that it was about to kick on, the blower. Then I cut the power off, so it gave me a long time then to get the job done. And it worked out. I had plenty of time. Especially starting on it in the morning because coals are kind of low anyway. But yeah, it will boil over if you get. That's why I got the generators, because when the power goes off, I got to go out there and get the power back on so the boiler don't boil over. There we go. Another nice one. Put that in here. Clean up the crumbs. Need to get a new carpet for my pontoon too. It's been bad the last 3 to 4 years. The whole pontoon is 6 by 12. Just a little bitty thing. And up here at the state park, you only allowed electric motors anyway, and that's all I've ever used on it, so it works out fine. And the carpet's not the full length, so I should be able to find a piece of carpet for it. Indoor, outdoor. Try and find a red one, that's what came with it. So, at any rate, that's it. That's it for today. Fish bait's made. Updated you on my back, which is feeling pretty good. And then the whole bladder thing, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it as we go along. All right, see ya.